Okay, so I just wanted to touch on this idea of trauma bond versus attachment. So when we are itty bitty, we do not know how to self-regulate. The way that we learn to self-regulate or have a self-supportive relationship or a healthy attachment to self is to have a healthy attachment with another person, which is typically our first caregiver. That's where we learn how. So if you think about puzzle pieces, like our first caregiver is meant to fit into that puzzle piece that's like, I want to safely attach, right? Um, and oftentimes, what happens because that first caregiver is under-resourced, had trauma themselves, is living in insecurity, financial, otherwise, that caregiver offers us conditional support. So they may offer us food inconsistently. Sometimes there's food, sometimes there's not. They may offer us connection or intimacy inconsistently. Sometimes they hug us and say they love us. Other times they ignore us. Other times they actually are aggressive or, um, you know, putting us down. They offer us housing inconsistently, maybe, or access to resources. So sometimes they buy us the thing we need for school. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes we have a safe house. Sometimes we are living somewhere that feels dangerous, right? And so that inconsistency is what we first map onto what it means to interact with another person. And so, whereas the receptor or the puzzle piece is made to fit with attachment, which is safe enough, it doesn't have to be perfect, but it's like more safety than danger. It's meant to fit with that. But instead, a different puzzle piece is matched with us that is like in its kind of most severe sense, a trauma bond, or perhaps it's just a like slightly insecure attachment. So there's like um, a little less safety than danger, or a little less consistency with safety than danger. So we're wired when it's safe enough and there's more safety than danger, we're going to connect. When it's more danger than safety, we're going to protect. So in those early years, if we had consistent enough danger is higher than safety, then we're going to, sort of map onto relationship the idea that like protection is always the best choice with relationship. And we're going to almost in a way like relationship safety is going to mean this inconsistent or just like not safe interaction. So when we come to map that on, that's what we think is how we create safety because it was associated with our housing or our finances. And so then later in life, when we go to seek a romantic partner or a friend and they offer like unconditional safety or more safety than danger, we're like, nope, that's not a fit. And we send them away, right? We may have anxious avoidant. We may be like, please come. And then as soon as they love us, we're like, get away. Or we may have anxious, like, I want you, but we only choose that with the people who are uh represent that like inconsistent safety or that danger. And we're gonna have like and definitely not avoidant to those people who have consistent or safe enough. And so it doesn't mean that we're like doomed, right? It just means like we mapped that and we got used to that and we associated it with safety. So our nervous system has a lot of evidence to support that that is the way to get housing and finances. And this is going to show up particularly in romantic relationships because romantic relationships are one of the main places that we are associating physical safety, housing, financial, food resources to a romantic relationship, particularly if we're living with someone. It can also sometimes be with a boss at work who's like in control of our financial safety. It's less likely with friendships, but still sometimes. So, the nice dialectical that we can offer ourselves here is, dialectics are things that are seem in opposition but can both be true is like, okay, I learned that safety came when I had a trauma bond or when I connected with someone who was actually, pretty conditional about the safety that they offered me, or they really didn't offer me any safety. I came to depend on that for my original source of safety and my original idea about what it meant to be in connection with other humans or interaction, because it's not real connection when it's more danger than safety, it's protection. So we associate protection with interaction with humans. Okay, maybe that's how I was trained. That's what happened. And there's possibility for change, right? So I can acknowledge my reality and I can hold the possibility for change, knowing that it may take a long time. It may be that romantic connection is the most challenging for me. It may mean that I, need to be pretty patient and understanding with myself when a lot of relationships don't work out, right? But it doesn't mean it's off the table for me. It just means that it might be a little bit more challenging in the same way that, like, let's say someone is born with cerebral palsy and they have, challenge navigating gait or like they're walking. Um, and that doesn't mean they can't walk. It just means it may take a little bit more time and energy than the person who was not born into that. Um, so, yeah, that's just a little thought around attachment versus these like more trauma bond or very conditional interactions with early caregivers and how that interacts with our adult relationships. Okay, lots of love.